We have intentionally left the chat open for everyone to be able to converse. Why? Because we want you to talk. Yes, we have you muted, but it's not because we don't want you to be interactive. It's because there are going to be up to 100 of you guys. And there's no way that our presenter is going to be able to get through everything in an hour if we've got a lot of back and forth. But don't worry. We are going to have moderation happening in the chat. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We've got little set check-in points. I'm going to be pulling those questions. I'm going to be asking them on your behalf. And if for some reason we don't get to your question, we will be sending out responses to every question that's put in the chat after this presentation. Now, maybe not afterwards, like tonight, but you will get those via email. That being said, some of you guys are now listed as iPhone or Samsung. If you would be so kind as to actually take a moment and put your names into the chat, that would be appreciative so we can know whose question goes with what email in case we need to give any personalized responses. A couple of other things that are going on for you guys this evening, and you'll see me steadily admitting people because we don't want anyone to miss out on this information, is we've got two things that are happening with AI. We have got an AI summary so that after this particular meeting is over, we will send out to you the notes of everything that occurred here. That way, if you aren't the best note taker, don't worry, we've got your back. We will also turn on an AI companion. If you're not familiar with an AI companion, what that means is that you can actually ask a question to the AI companion and it will catch you up. So let's say you need to take a bio break. Normally, you have to sit there and hold it for a while. Well, with the AI companion, you'll see at the bottom of your screen, you can actually go take your bio break, come back and say, hey, catch me up. Or hey, can you explain to me what you just said? Or can you repeat that? And the AI companion will try its best to answer some questions for you. Now, the AI companion is no substitute for the presenter that we have this evening. So again, the AI companion is only to catch you up on some minute-related items. Just make sure you find that and you hit click on the Ask the AI companion a question, and they will help you out. So again, if you guys, we're going to pause for just a second to allow everybody to locate the chat function and enter your name into the chat box. We'll pause for just a few seconds. Right. I see those names. Oh, they're rolling. Okay. We kind of set you guys up just to make sure you knew how to use the chat. It never fails us. There's someone who doesn't know how to use the chat function, but it sounds like you guys have got it under control. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move, and we're going to go into a little bit of an icebreaker. Now, we're stalling. Why? Because we need to make sure that when we get to the meat of the presentation, that we've got more people in here. But we want to value your time. And I have to tell you this, we plan on ending right on time at 7:30. We will have Q&A after the entire session for questions. And we've also got some special announcements. So I'm going to ask that you make sure you stay on for the full time, especially if you're in the food and beverage industry. Why? Because we've got a funding opportunity for you that we're going to tell you about at the end of everything that happens today. That being said, who doesn't want to start off a meeting with an icebreaker? So what excites you about entrepreneurship? You guys are on this call for a reason. Let's see. Is it money, a sense of accomplishment, validation, being your own boss, schedule flexibility, generational wealth, having a sense of purpose, freedom, or leaving a legacy? Everyone gets into entrepreneurship for a different reason. But we want to know, for you guys that are entrepreneurs, are interested in becoming entrepreneurs, what excites you about being an entrepreneur? So we're launching a poll right now, and you can pick as many answers as you like about what excites you about being an entrepreneur. Everyone should see the poll launch on their screen now. Pick all that apply. We'll do this for about 30 to 45 seconds, and then we'll show the results. We've got about half of you who put your answers in. And I'm kind of surprised at what we got. So let's see. We'll give it a few more seconds to see what you guys are thinking. All right. I was looking for a clear winner. All right. Looks like the answers have stopped coming in now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to share the results. You guys should be able to see on your screen. Are you surprised? I'm not. I pretty much thought that being your own boss was going to be the number one reason. And money was going to be the second one, followed by scheduling flexibility. I'm excited to see that generational wealth and a sense of purpose came in close second, so to speak. So that's fantastic. All right, as well as leaving a legacy and some freedom. So now, thank you guys for participating in that particular poll. And I just want to remind you of a couple things before we get started. All right. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, a legal disclaimer. Yes, we just want to let you know that we are here to give you some great, amazing information. However, this cannot be considered legal nor financial advice, and you should always consult with an attorney or other professional to determine what may be best for your individual needs. Dallas College, Oxygen LLC, nor OttaDaBox Solutions can make any guarantee or promises about results that may be obtained from attending this particular seminar. Therefore, we disclaim any and all liability in regards to this particular event, any information, commentary, analysis, opinions, advice, or recommendations that you may take away that do not suit whatever your intentions were. As a reminder, any questions that you have can be placed in the chat as it will be moderated. There will be Q&A portions throughout the presentation as well as at the end. And then also, we do have the AI companion in case you've got a question about anything that you may have missed. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our speaker, our featured speaker of the hour. Elle Carter is a seasoned professional from the heart of Dallas, Texas, and she is no stranger to the business world. She is armed with a business administration degree from the University of Houston and also has a master's in organizational management from the University of Dallas. She's a powerhouse combo of both marketing and human resources know-how. With almost 3 decades of adventures in industries, working from airlines like Southwest to tech giants like Toshiba, Elle Carter is a walking encyclopedia of wisdom, skills, and stories. So the next voice that you hear will be that of Elle Carter.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Lewis, for that introduction. Now, I have to correct you. You said 3 decades. I'm only 25, so I don't know where the decades came from. But at any rate, we will get
That's why we have that legal disclaimer about inaccuracies. Just remember that, okay, guys?
Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I am honored to be here tonight, and hopefully I can drop a few nuggets or shed some light on some things about being your own boss. Listen, today's popular hashtags on social media is hashtag boss up, hashtag boss this, hashtag boss that. But how effective is any of that if you don't have a solid structure? So tonight, we will talk about types of business structures, how to register your business in Texas. We're talking about Texas tonight, even though there might be people from all over the United States. We're going to talk a little bit about business plans, and then we're going to talk a little bit about business credit. So again, I have to ask you, are you ready? Get a pen and paper and let's go. All right. So you want to be an entrepreneur, own your own business, be your own boss. That is great. Again, I say, are you ready? All right, then, boss, tell me, what can you learn from the folktale of the 3 little pigs? I know you're saying, ma'am, can you just get to the steps? We're going to get to that. Hold on. But in my professional opinion, nothing supersedes a solid foundation. Why? Because trials will come. And just as the folktale of the 3 little pigs says, you need a what? What do you need? You need a solid foundation to be successful in these entrepreneurial streets. So, the importance of a strong foundation is what I think we can take away from the 3 little pigs. All right, ready, set, go. This is your first exercise today in becoming your own boss. You got to start by changing your mindset. Changing your mindset is key. We've all been employees at some point in time. Working, turning our timesheets, getting our paychecks. Well, entrepreneurship is totally different. And it's a totally different mindset. So let's start there. Entrepreneurship has many good things. However, there are a myriad of pitfalls that come too. So putting down your first building block is changing how you see yourself and knowing that when you see yourself differently, you're going to stay the course no matter what. Change is going to happen. It happens in life. It's going to happen in your entrepreneurial ventures too. Embrace the change. You have to believe that it's your time to do this thing. You have to be willing to think outside of the box. Yeah, out of the box. Get it? Outside the box. Anyway, you must be passionate about what you're going to do, and you must be open to new ideas. Please know that you got to be proactive and not be waiting on someone else. Risk-taking is required. So in this mindset change and this mindset growth, it is required that you change your mind to start with. So if you are risk adverse or adverse to thinking differently, entrepreneurship may not be your thing. Now, lesson 1 with this changing your mindset, it requires intentionality. Find a mantra or a quote, write it on a notepad, put it on your refrigerator, your steering wheel, because the more you say it, the more you believe it. And it takes about 30 days for you to develop any kind of habit. So these are some quotes that I like, that I use personally, that I say to myself every day. But you got to find something that works for you and to start switching your mind to going from being an employee to being a business owner. All right, let's jump into this thing. Now that your mind is changed and you into this entrepreneurial mindset, let's talk about the basics of business. Types of business structures. So there are several different types of business structures, but tonight we're just going to cover the basics. We're going to talk about just these 3, because if I talked about all of them, we would be here all night long, and we do not have time for that. So let's just talk about some basics. Sole proprietorship, partnership, and limited liability companies. Each business type has its pros and cons, but it's up to you to look at those things and decide which one of these works best for you. This is not a one-size-fits-all type of decision. So just know that each state has different requirements. So please do your research and follow your state's guidelines. So for all of these examples I'm using tonight, we're going to be talking about Texas. Sole proprietorship. Becoming a sole proprietor is a simple process. It doesn't require much footwork to get started. It may take you in a direction you've always wanted to dream of. You guys just said generational wealth. You just said that you want to earn more money. A sole proprietorship could definitely do that for you. But let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of this type of business structure. Now, this type of business structure is ideal for a low-risk business. What do you mean by low risk, Elle? Okay, I'm glad you asked. For example, opening a drop shipping site, working as a freelance musician, working as a freelance editor, working as a tutor. Those are some examples of low-risk businesses that are good for sole proprietors. Let's talk about some good things about this type of business structure. First of all, it's simplified business ownership. You own it, you run it, you do it, that's it. It's less paperwork to get started. You have fewer requirements for business taxes. There are no registration fees. I mean, good stuff. But on the flip side, we used to say flip side back in the day when you had them 45s and you had to flip that thing over to get to the others. Never mind, I'm dating myself. I said I was 25, so I don't know nothing about no 45s. Okay, so back to the possible roadblocks and cons of sole proprietorships. In a sole proprietorship, there is greater liability, meaning you incur all the debts. The sole proprietor incurs every debt there is. There's nobody to share that with. Taxes, sole proprietors must report business profits as their own personal income. And with sole proprietorships, it's really difficult to raise capital. But one of the major cons, I believe, is that you are personally liable when your business is structured like this. So now, sole proprietors must use their own personal name, your own legal name, unless you are a sole proprietor and you apply for a trade name or DBA. DBA means doing business as. So let's talk about that. It's another asset or another facet of sole proprietorship. Let's talk about a DBA. All right, DBAs are not required for sole proprietorships, but I know the questions in your head, you're saying if it's not required, then why do I need one? Well, DBAs help a sole proprietor by adding another layer to their business. What does that mean? Well, in layman's terms, if you own a drywall hanging business, so your business name is Mark Smith Drywall, because a sole proprietor must use your legal name for business. So looking at that name in advertisements, Mark Smith Drywall, that's what you would use. I would only assume you hung drywall if I saw Mark Smith Drywall. But if you did home remodeling, meaning you did drywall, tape and bedding, painting, and minor electrical work, you could register a DBA and name your business MS Home Remodeling. That broadens your scope on how you can market your business, how people will view your business offerings, and make the business sound larger than with more than one service. That is one example of how a DBA could add another layer to your business. It's also small businesses can keep things simple with a DBA because DBAs only change the name of your company. DBAs also protect the privacy of its owners. DBAs make your banking safer because you want to always separate your personal banking from your business banking. And DBAs, most of all, makes branding and marketing your business so much easier. Branding is how your business stands out against all the rest. The business name listed on your business cards and signage lets people know what you're selling. For example, Becky Jones, if she hadn't filed a DBA, no one would know that Becky Jones owns a spa. But when she filed her DBA and named her establishment Keeping Up with the Joneses Spa and Wellness, that thing hit good. Keeping Up with the Joneses Spa and Wellness. Got a good ring to it, huh? So DBAs add an extra layer to your sole proprietorship business. But remember, they make positive differences as well as, no, they do make positive differences. Let me rephrase that. They do make positive differences, but owning a DBA does not mean that you're the only one that has that name. Because there are other people that can file DBAs and y'all have the same name. But we'll talk about something a little bit different that'll get you out of that. Next slide. All right, I told you from the beginning, there are pros and cons. Here are some restrictions when it comes to Texas DBAs. The names that you choose for your Texas DBA. In Texas, an assumed business name cannot contain any of the following. Words that people could confuse your business with a government agency. So you can't name yourself like FBI, even though FBI might stand for something else, you can't use it in your name. You can't use the word Treasury. You can't use the word State Department. So you have to be very intentional when you're thinking about a DBA name. You can't use words that insinuate or imply that your company is organized for unlawful reasons. I'm just going to drop that off or leave it right there. They said what they said. The terms lotto and lottery are prohibited in your business name. Whew, don't be trying to tell my mama, because Lord knows she love her some scratch-offs. Well, I guess I shouldn't have said that out loud to the public because now she's going to write me out her will, but that's okay. That you cannot use the word lotto or lottery in your business name. You can't use words that insinuate or imply the business was created for the benefit of armed forces like veterans or their families. And you are restricted on using words such as bank, attorney, or university unless you have a licensed person in that area as an owner. Next slide. All right, here we go. All right, time to step this thing out. Let's do the Texas 3-step. Are you ready? To file your DBA, well, this is what you're going to do. Step one, you're going to go to Texas, the website, Texas Controller of Public Accounts, and you are going to do a Texas assumed name search. In Texas, when you're registering an assumed business name, it does not prevent other people from registering the same name. However, it does act as a public record, and notice that you are using the assumed business name. So when you register your DBA, go to Texas Controller of Public Accounts, search for the DBA name you wish. And even though there are multiple businesses can carry the same assumed name in Texas, you will still want to find a unique name because you want your business to kind of stand out from the rest. That's step one. Step two, you're going to file the DBA with the county clerk. Texas law requires all sole proprietors and partnerships to file an assumed name registration in the county in which you're going to do business. For example, if I want to do dog walking in Ellis County, I need to file my DBA in Ellis County. If I wanted to do tutoring service in Denton County, shout out to my UNT folk, Ellis County DBA would not cover that business. I would need to file a DBA in Denton County as well. I hope that makes sense. Now, step three to filing your DBA, step one was do your assumed name search. Step two was file in the county in which you're going to do business. Now, step three is you're going to pay Texas them fees and get your DBA. The fees, they range about $15 and you maybe $15 to $20. It just depends on the county in which you are going to do business. So that's all I have right now for sole proprietorships and DBAs. Now we're going to move on to this thing called partnerships. We've talked about the pros and cons of sole proprietorships, and we did the Texas 3-step about getting your DBA. Now let's move on and talk about partnerships. Let's get into this thing, honey. I love me a good partnership. Did you know that all the companies you see on the screen started as partnerships? Pay close attention to these because we're going to revisit these in just a moment. Partnerships. Partnerships are a good idea for multiple owners. Like I said, it's the simplest way to start a business for more than one person. Some good things or some pros about partnerships are the business structure allows one other person to have both ownership in the business. So it's not just one person owning it. It's more than one person having ownership in the business. The good thing about that is you have an extra set of hands. You have shared financial burden. There's less paperwork and fewer tax forms. Some cons about, or some bad things, there we go. Some bad things about partnerships that you can't make decisions on your own. You have to split all the profits. You aren't a separate business entity, and you are taxed individually. Now, go back in your mind and think about those companies that I put on the previous screen. Drop in the chat. There they are. Look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look at them. Which one of them do you think are still operating as viable partnerships right about now? Drop that in the chat. Which one of those companies, or which, if not all of them, do you think are still operating as partnerships? Drop it in the chat. Let's see what we got. On a side note, not all partnerships are 50-50. There can be a 70-30, 80-20 structured partnerships. These are called limited partnerships. We will not go into details here, but I wanted you to be aware that limited partnerships do exist. Now, looking at the chat, Dr. Lewis, what did you see the most? Because I didn't get to see them all.
I think everybody agreed that Ben & Jerry's is still in existence, probably because they've been eating that Chunky Monkey or that, was it Cherry Garcia? And then after that, P&G seemed to be a strong contender. Now, we had some people to say that none of them were still partnerships, whereas somebody else said that all of them were partnerships. And then one person said only 3 out of 5 of them were still partnerships, but they didn't tell us which ones. So I'm not sure if they're just guessing or not. Maybe they want to clarify and see what they really know. Who knows?
Well, I want to be here to bust. I want to tell you, if you said 3 out of 5 of these businesses are still partnerships, you are 100% correct. The fact is, Facebook and Amazon started out as partnerships, but they're no longer structured like that. Jeff Bezos and his then wife started Amazon out of their garage, but a messy divorce later, no more partnership. Facebook was created in 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg, Eduardo Severin, Andrew McCollum, and Dustin Makovitz, and Chris Hughes. The partnership dissolved, and now Zuckerberg is the majority shareholder of the social media giant. Partnerships can be messy, but what I want you to take away from this and think about, 70% of all partnerships that start, they fail. Why? Why would they fail? Well, business partnerships are just like every marriage. They begin with the best of intentions. Next slide, please. The best of intentions. But unfortunately, the fact is partnerships break up far more commonly than they are successful. It is really important to have a legal framework in place for what you want your business to be before you go into anything called partnership. You need to outline each one's roles and responsibilities. You need to define how decisions will be made. There are other items on this slide that tell you things that you need to put in your partnership agreements that will help you to make sure or try to alleviate some of that possibility of failure, because 70% fail, so that means only 30% are successful. Let me get, all right. Entrepreneurs are starting to look a bit, I've got a little bit tongue-tied there. Entrepreneurs who are looking to start a business might consider forming an LLC, a limited liability company. Research shows that there are 2.2 million LLCs in the United States, and they are a popular choice among all new business owners. For those new to business world, we'll explain how to start an LLC and answer some frequently asked questions about the topic. An LLC lets you take advantage of the benefits both from corporation and partnership business structures. LLCs protect you from personal liability. It protects your personal assets like your vehicle, your house, your savings account. None of those will be at risk if you have filed bankruptcy or if your LLC files bankruptcy or has lawsuits. This type of structure will give you some protection from loss or seizure of your personal assets once you go into business. There are clauses to this type of structure, so be sure to consult a lawyer to ensure you understand your responsibilities and what protection this type of business structure will afford you. Now let's talk about some of those pros and cons. We've been talking about pros and cons all night. So just like a sole proprietorship and partnerships, there are pros and cons to limited liability companies also. The pros are your business income is part of your owner's income without a separate tax. It provides a level of protection to protect your personal assets, and taxes are a little bit easier to file. But some notable cons or things that might be limited to your for limited liability companies are LLCs usually cost more to form and maintain in ownership. An LLC is often harder to transfer. And LLCs, all members must approve before you add a new member. Now, let's look at how to form this type of entity. All right, entrepreneurs should check their state guidelines because I'm only talking about Texas tonight. But in general, these are the steps to take to start an LLC. First, select a state in which you can file in. You can file your LLC in any state you want to. Some people choose Delaware, some people choose, you get to choose that. I'm just going to talk about Texas tonight. So you're going to select your state to file in. And if you have multiple business locations, you are required to file an LLC in each state. You're going to name your LLC. It's time to decide the name of your LLC. So your business name must be unique because it's not like a sole proprietorship DBA where many people use this name. No, for an LLC, it has to be a unique name that nobody else is using. And you have to end it with LLC or limited liability company. So number one, select the state to file in. Number two, you got to come up with a name for your LLC. In Texas, you can go to SOS Direct to search for businesses, assume names, and trademarks that have been registered already, because that's going to tell you if you can use that name or not. Number one, select the state in which to file. Number two, name your LLC. Number three, you're going to select a registered agent. L, what's a registered agent? Well, while the title sounds all official, a registered agent is simply someone who sends and receives legal documents regarding the business. You can find information and forms and all of that stuff in the Secretary of State's website, and they have a specific page dedicated to registered agents, so you can ask all your questions. Number one, select your state to file in. Number two, name your LLC. Number three, select a registered agent. Number four, you're going to file your articles of incorporation, your articles of organization. What is that? Essentially, filing means you're going to register this business with the state. You're also going to need these items when you get ready to go and open a bank account. You're going to need your articles of organization. So one, select the state, name your LLC, register your agent, file your articles of organization. Number five, you're going to establish an operational agreement. Yes, this thing is optional, but just like in partnerships, the operating agreement is optional, but it helps to establish, and it's a wise move for your business because it outlines, you get a clear understanding of the business structure, who's going to decide what, who's going to do what, and it just helps you be wise with your business starting from the jump. We're talking about building strong foundations. So establishing an operating agreement, that's putting some bricks on your foundation, in my opinion. And number six, you're going to get an EIN. This is a unique number, which is also called a tax ID number, and it's issued by the IRS, and it can be obtained on the IRS website. You're going to get all these people trying to tell you they'll file your EIN for you and charge you this money. You can go directly to the IRS website and get your own EIN, and guess how much it costs? $0. $0. You just have to go on the IRS website, answer some questions, submit your paperwork, and it gives you that number right then. And you definitely need your EIN if you're going to do business in Texas. LLCs must file for an EIN even if you don't have any employees. It is required, and you're going to need it to open a business account. There's no filing fee for an EIN. Now, all right. I know there was a whole lot of information, but you made it. You got through it. Now to summarize business structures. It's important you have a strong business foundation, and you do that by starting with a mindset change. You need to determine the type of business structure that works for you. If you're a sole proprietor, you can do business solely in your legal name, or you can file a DBA, doing business as. If you determine a partnership, make sure you have all the roles and responsibilities spelled out for this type of business structure, because you don't want to be like Facebook and Amazon, well, maybe in revenue, but not in the breakup part. And finally, an LLC structure that separates your personal assets from business assets are a must, and you must file them with the Secretary of State. All right. Are there any questions so far? Drop them in the chat, and Dr. Lewis is going to tell me when they are there. Is there something I can answer for you really quick? If not, we're going to move on to the third and fourth topic of the evening.
I don't see any questions. I think we might have lost a couple people when we started talking about Ben and Jerry's. So I think that everybody is full with a spoon in their mouth, and they can't really type questions because they're too busy eating Ben and Jerry's. So let's see. Just to make sure you guys are awake, even if it's not Ben and Jerry's, I'm a Bluebell chick myself. I like cookies and cream from Bluebell. I also like peach cobbler and banana pudding. But just to make sure you guys are awake, can you drop your favorite type of ice cream in the chat? I just need to make sure the chat is working. We got 10 seconds. Who's got a favorite kind of ice cream? All right, cookies and cream, Mitchell. We are chocolate chip cookie dough. Okay. What other kind? Oh, Vanilla. Oh, that's so cute. Wait a minute. I'm getting them in the DMs. Who's hitting me in the DMs about some pistachio? Wait, you keep up. Lemon custard, half baked, lime sherbet. Look at those chocolate, old school butter pecan. Okay. I think the next time we have one of these the activities, we need to have it at an ice cream shop. I guarantee you, we would get some more engagement. All right, I can say this, Miss Carter. I think, oh, orange sherbet. I think they're still awake. I think they're still in tune, but you're just answering everything so thoroughly, and they know they can ask the AI companion if they miss something, and that they're going to get a summary of the notes after this, that they don't have any questions right now. All right, I do have one that just popped up, and it says, "What's a great practice on paying taxes on an LLC?" That's a slippery slope, since I know you're not a tax professional, but I definitely wanted to ask that question from someone named Millionaire. Okay, so I'll pass it over to you, Elle Carter. What do you say about paying a good practice on paying taxes on an LLC?
Well,
And they want to know, is that quarterly or annual? They clarify with standard taxes, quarterly or annual.
Well, that's definitely going to be according to the state that you filed your LLC in. And because I'm only talking about Texas, I'm going to, why don't you send, Dr. Lewis, is there any way I can answer that question via email? Because I want to get more specifics to make sure I'm giving the right answer so that I don't go down a slippery slope. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's it. They didn't tell me where they are, but I will tell you this. If that person, I should have, they're registered. So if you can send me a personal DM with your email address, I'll make sure that they get back to you in the interest of time. I know the answer to that one, but I also know how taxes go. And so we want to make sure that we don't send anybody who is not as familiar down the wrong path. So thank you very much for that. And he said Texas in capital letters and a yes, ma'am. So we're going to reach back out to you and tell you about that, because there's a right answer and then there's also a good answer. And so we'll let you get that information in just a moment. All right, now we're going to move on to the next slide. Thank you, guys.
Business plan. Having a plan for anything you want to achieve in life is good. The old adage is true, even for entrepreneurs. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Entrepreneurs need a business plan to showcase how their business will be profitable and stand out in the marketplace to prospective investors and stakeholders. So let's take a look at a few simple examples. Your business plan is the foundation for your business. Business plans can help get you funding, bring you new business partners. A business plan is a tool that you use to convince people that working with you or investing in your company is a smart choice. So we're going to talk briefly about two little different kinds of business plans. There's a traditional business plan. With this one, this type of plan is detailed. It takes a lot of time to write, and it's comprehensive. Lenders and investors commonly request this kind of plan. There's also a lean startup plan. This type of plan has a high level focus. I mean, it's like broad in spectrum and in nature. It's fast to write, contains key elements only. Some lenders and investors may ask for more information from one of these type of business plans. So let's talk briefly about traditional business plans. In a traditional business plan, you have all of these components: an executive summary, company marketing analysis, organization, service and product line, marketing and sales. You have all of these different components, which make it very lengthy. You have to put a lot of thought into a traditional business plan. And this is what lenders and people who are investors want to look at and see and make sure that you've thought out each one of these components in your business before they decide to give you money. For instance, your executive summary is what your company is and why you think it's going to be successful. Most traditional business plans need market analysis. You'll need to be in good standing in your industry and have a great outlook and be able to identify your target markets and who you're trying to sell to. Now, financial projections are definitely a must. We were talking about taxes. It's all about money when we're talking about traditional business plan. Your goal is to convince the reader of your business plan that your business is stable and will be a financial success. So that's kind of the overview of a traditional business plan. No, they take time to write. No, it takes a lot of research and a lot of thought, but in doing one, when you do a traditional type of business plan, I believe you get more clarity on what kind of business and what your business can actually do. All right, I'm looking for our lean business plan. See, traditional. All right, this is actually a slide that's going to talk about your lean business plan. Your lean business plan components, there are key partnerships, key activities, key resources, and most of the time it's a one-pager. I have a question that says, how often should a business plan be updated? Whenever you make any major changes to your business, especially if you're looking for funding, then I would say go in and update your business plan. When you do anything major that's going to change the outlook, especially when people are looking to give you money or invest or become a partner, you want to make sure your business plan is up to date. So it all depends on what kind of changes you make, how fast you're growing, or if you plan to do something big within the next few years. So did that answer your question? Okay. I can't see anything else in the chat, but okay, great. But I wanted to make sure to answer that because I saw it. So traditional business plans, key activities, lean startup plans, one-pagers, either one. That's what small businesses do. All right. Want to move on to the next thing, business credit. What is business credit? Business credit is a track record of a business financial responsibility that companies, investors, or financial organizations use to determine whether or not that business is a good candidate to lend money or to do business with. So we're going to talk about a few little, I'm not going to go real deep into business credit because there's so many facets. I'm sorry, you guys. That's my children, when they text, it comes through no matter if the phone's on silent or not. So that's what you're hearing. All right. Establishing business credit. What is in a business name? Everything. Establishing your business, make sure you have a name that will, one, attract funding. You don't want to be called drop it like it's hot ice cream. I mean, sounds good. But when you're looking for true investors, drop it like it's hot ice cream might not be the thing that they're looking to attach to. So your business name is crucial and very important. Your business address. Do not use P.O. boxes or UPS mailboxes. Many lenders take the time to use a United States Postal Office tool to verify business locations. They're looking to see if you are valid, if you have a valid location, because that helps to establish the credibility of your business. So when your business credit is being reported, make sure you're not sharing an address with somebody else, because if they have bad business credit and you have the same address, your business credit might be misreported. And business credit is not like personal credit. It's not that easy to clean or to change. So, and most importantly, make sure all of your documents have your business address on all of your business records. All right. Optimally, addresses must be commercially zoned. I got a question in the chat that says, what is the difference between a physical address and a virtual address? Do you mean like an office, like a virtual office address? Because there are some things that small businesses do that where you rent like an office space where you get to use the physical address of that particular company, like a business building. They hold your mail, they take your phone calls, and you look like an established brick and mortar business. Do you mean that kind of virtual address, or do you mean a virtual address like you go to a UPS store and rent a box and you get to use their physical address and box number? So drop it in the chat, and then I'll address that in just a minute. So a business name.
I will monitor the chat for you. So even if you see things pop up, keep going. And then after we get there, I'll make sure to address all their questions. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I just didn't want her to think I didn't see it. So business name, physical address, a business phone or fax. Creditors prefer actual business phones. So I wouldn't attach my small business phone to free or low cost phone numbers like Google Voice, because Google Voice tells the person calling, this is a Google Voice number. So today there are many inexpensive virtual business phone services available for phone and fax service. You want to make sure you have a website and emails. Lenders and prospective customers will always search for a website, and a valid website will boost your credibility. You want to make sure you have a bank account, a business bank account. Set up your business bank account as soon as you get your EIN and you've registered your company with the state. Or if you're doing DBA, take your DBA and your EIN and go to the bank and open a business bank account. Then, in order for you to start receiving some type of hits on your credit, you need to have some kind of merchant accounts, like, not merchant accounts. You need to have some vendor accounts, some tier 1 vendor accounts, like something with a 30-day net, because they report to your business credit agencies. And we'll talk about a business credit agency in just a second. So business name, physical address, business phone, email, business account, merchant accounts, those people that are selling things, you need a way to take payment. So those are merchant accounts, and a 411 listing. Now, who uses 411? Nobody uses that too much anymore, but banks and credit unions do. Credit issuers, suppliers, and lenders view 411 listings as a strong sign of business credibility. So it is always best that you get a phone number and list your business with 411 before you go and apply for any type of business credit. Next slide.
All right, so I will tell you, I don't know if you can hear me okay. The person did follow back up about whether it's a physical or virtual address. They gave a longer answer about no, there's a such thing as a virtual address. And so that is I'm gonna have to put in a shameless plug, Ms. Carter, where you were speaking about the virtual addresses is what I think that this person was referring to, about the places that you sign up and they look like you are on 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, but that's not really where your office is. That's just where they process your mail. So this person says, no, there is a thing with virtual address that sends all of your mail to your email. It's something I slightly heard of that people are changing to because there's like a huge surge in mail. So you won't have to have the mail coming to your house. I heard that there are other pros to a virtual address. So you guys were speaking of the same thing. And I'm going to throw in a shameless plug and tell Jasmine, there's another one of these coming up this Thursday called Get Set Up for Success, the tools and resources your small business needs. We will discuss virtual addresses and you'll get some leads on which ones to pick and how to decide if you want to go forward with a virtual address. So I'll go to the next slide now, Ms. Carter.
Yay. Okay. So I was following her correctly then. Great. I love it. All right. Dun & Bradstreet. If you are starting your business, you want to make sure you get a DNB number or a DUNS number. And a DUNS number simply is with a company called Dun & Bradstreet. Now, when you are applying for a DUNS number, it is free. If you call them and apply, they're going to try to sell you all of this stuff. That's just what they do. But to get a DUNS number for your business, for your valid company, it's free. You don't have to purchase any of their monthly, whatever it is that they try to sell you. Now, you have to have a DUNS number to start establishing initial lines of credit. Now, beware, business credit is not like personal credit. Payment history does not reset after so many years. So when you start establishing your business credit, you want to make sure that you are keeping up with it and not letting it go into default, because it's not like filing bankruptcy and it starts all over for you. That's just not how it is. Now, you want to start off with your business credit by doing tier 1 vendors, tier 1 creditors, such as like a Quill. They have a net 30. So they'll offer small businesses credit where they have like a net 30. They'll say, okay, you can purchase up to $200 worth of stuff, but you got to pay us in 30 days. And once you start paying and making on-time payments, they'll report that to Dun & Bradstreet. And Dun & Bradstreet for a business is just like Equifax and Experian for your personal credit. Also, Uline and Granger, those are tier 1 vendors that's easy to get started with when you're a small business to start establishing your business credit. All right. Here is your to-do list. We have made it through entrepreneurship. Are you ready? You have made it. I hope you have taken plenty notes, got a few nuggets, all of that. But I just want to kind of wrap everything up, put a bow on it, and then take any questions you may have. The first thing I talked about was shifting your mindset. Shift from a day-to-day task focus to a big picture long term. That's how an entrepreneur thinks. Choose and research your desired business endeavor. Determine your preferred type of business structure. We talked about sole proprietorships, we talked about partnerships, and we also talked about LLCs. Determine your business name. Write your business plan. Get your EIN. Register your business with the state or do a DBA if you choose. Apply for any type of licensing if you need it. Choose a location if that's what you want to do, virtual or not, brick and mortar. And then open a business banking account. If you can do all of that, not in any particular order, but if you can do all of that, then guess what? You are now open for business. Time to cut that ribbon, child. You are a business owner and an entrepreneur.
All right. So we know some of you guys are probably holding on to your questions to the end. So she did great with timing. It is right at 7 o'clock on the dot, and we've got some time for Q&A. Now, if you don't have a question, don't hop off. Remember, there's some good information coming up after this. So that being said, I am going to listen for your questions in the chat. I'll say, listen, I guess I should look because they're not going to talk to me in the chat. But is there anyone who has a question that you guys would like to pose to our featured presenter, Elle Carter of OttaDaBox Solutions? I wish it was like where you could see the little on an iPhone when they're typing and you can see the little white dots going up and down. And don't worry, like I said, oh, here we go. All right. Somebody says, will we get a replay of this amazing event? I feel like we're on a talk show. Yes, Marie Smith, you guys will get a copy of this particular recording. Also, it is going to be featured on our Linktree. It's Linktree/speaker series. That is where we put all the replays of our events. So it's going to take a while for it to transcribe everything this evening. So in a couple of days, you guys will get a copy of a link that will allow you to go straight there. If you miss that, if your email goes to spam, we're going to give you an address where you can stay connected and get all things that are this event related and other entrepreneur speaker series pieces. Now, here's a question from a Zoom user. Don't have the name. So Zoom user, make sure you put your name in the chat so I can make sure to say that you were here. How do you obtain the DNB number? Is there an application process? So I know we touched on it, but maybe you can give them a little bit more. But before I do, Loria's iPhone said to tell you, great presentation. Ms. Carter, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, to do the Dun and Bradstreet, the DUNS number, it is an application process, but it's very, very simple. The slide, Dr. Lewis, can you go back 1 or 2 slides?
I sure can.
Right here, it shows you. All you have to do is go to dunandbradstreet.com. And you see right there, it's pointing to get a DUNS number right there. Get it for free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But you do have to have your EIN. It's a few other things they ask you for. In order to make sure that you're an established business, you got to kind of know what sector you're going to be in. But it's a simple process. You just follow it, click it, and it takes a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 days, and they send you the DUNS number.
Excellent. All right, so we have one user that says, hey, great Zoom. I have a DBA and an EIN. But for some reason, I'm afraid to file the LLC. I'm not sure why, but maybe afraid of tax issues. Need advice to overcome fear. Boy, they really want a tax person, don't they?
They do. So we need to talk. I'm very careful when it comes to tax filing, but An LLC, if you're a small business and you don't want to invest the $300 or $350 to do an LLC right now, so say your business is just jumping off and you might be making $500 a month, so you don't want to invest the $300 right now, then a DBA and an EIN is just fine. It works for what you're doing now. But as you grow and your company starts to get larger revenues, it would be optimal to definitely take that $300 or $400 and get an LLC so that it keeps your personal, everything you have personally to lose, it keeps that and your business separate. But that's a matter of timing, it's a matter of preference, and it's a matter of if you have the money to invest in the LLC.
All right. So we've got someone else that says, I don't have any questions at this point. Have a great session and looking forward to more of these type of series. Yeah. Someone else asked, and this is a loaded question. We'll see how you answer it. Are you all, keyword all, established with or provide consulting services should entrepreneurs have questions at a later date? Take it away, Elle. Take it away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will be open to answering any questions after the series. I'm definitely open to answering any questions and consulting after this series. Yes, I will just leave it at
so let me help. She's being modest, so let me help you out. And you're going to hear this a million times in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Elle's contact information is located on our link tree where we have our entire entrepreneur speaker series. So if you guys go, and you're going to see this flash up in a couple slides as soon as we finish with the questions. If you go to our link tree, that's linktree/speaker series. It's spelled a little differently, so just wait for it to come up on the slide. You will find a way to contact Elle. And then we'll talk about it a little bit more. And I'm laughing just because, yes, I heard you say to the person that put it in, are you all established? So that definitely should go to Elle. However, I also own a strategic consulting agencies where I work with small business owners and entrepreneurs. So we both have something to offer. We offer different services, but we obviously are open to being able to help you guys get on your journey. And I'm also going to tell you about some free resources because Elle and I aren't free. But we're going to talk to you about some free resources that Dallas College has for you to help you with your entrepreneurial journey. Make sure you stay tuned. Now, we've got a good job, Elle, and a thank you. I appreciate the response. However, someone else has asked, if you've already filed a business name, are you able to change it?
For an LLC or DBA?
They didn't say, so let's talk about them both. Oh, okay. DBA, they clarified DBA.
For a DBA, it doesn't make sense to change it. It's really because they last for 10 years. You could just keep it and just let it expire and just go file another one. I would recommend that. You just go file another one for whatever name that you want. Because remember, a DBA, many people can use those names. They can use my first DBA, I was a notary. So I named my company Notary because I felt like I was, don't judge me. I feel judged right now. I feel judged. Notary was the name of my first company. So but it only lasts for a 10-year period. So when I stopped being a notary, I just let it expire. And then I filed a DBA or LLC under another name.
All right. All right. So we've got some other people, just telling us how great of a job that you did. And so it sounds like we've answered most of the questions. And I've got to share some more things because I know there are some people that are holding on because they want to hear a little bit more. So Elle, I'll give you a moment. You can go off camera and grab you some water when I was going to say something to drink, but I don't know how you'll take that. Grab you some water because they may have some more questions for you. And I'll let you come back in just a moment. But before you do, now I don't know how this is going to work on my Black background. All right. We'd like to thank you for spending tonight with us. And so because you have fed our souls, I don't know if you can see this, but we have a little something that's a lot of something, okay, just for you, for taking the time out today to come and to impart people with some information that they needed to get started. So don't run away. We'll make sure that we get that to you, although it's virtual. But we always believe, and I'll tell you, this used to be an in-person dinner workshop. So that is the reason why we give out food to our speakers because you fed us and we want to return the favor. All right. So
Thank
go
you.
ahead, you can go off camera for a little bit. And then after I finish with these next few slides, there may be some people who want to hang out and ask a question or two. We can do that all the way up to 7:30. But let me tell these people some good news. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome job. All right. So you guys, I've been talking about this for the longest. Linktree/speaker series. You don't have to worry about the www part, honestly. Just go straight for Linktree. What I need you to know is that in the middle of the word Linktree, between the R and the E in the tree, is a dot. Who put it there? I don't know. But if you go to Linktree/speaker series, you can register for all of our offerings. Now, what are our offerings? Here they are on the stage. You guys heard about business structure fundamentals tonight. I'm going to be doing a series on small business tools and resources. And let me just tell you something. These tools and resources, they are not just tools and resources. And I'm going to go into this in a minute, so let me not even go too much on that. But let me tell you, there's something for people who even aren't entrepreneurs. So I'll go over that in a moment. Then we're going to come back next Tuesday via Zoom, and we're going to talk about financial literacy 101, how money works. This is for entrepreneurs, but honestly, it's things that most people don't know. I will tell you this. One of the biggest things I always get when I'm onboarding a new client is that I'm selling all this stuff, but I'm not making any money. That's because they don't understand how money works. I don't know when in school we were supposed to be taught this, but we weren't. So if you come next Tuesday, Financial Literacy 101, how money works, not only do you get a great bit of information, they are also going to give you a copy of a How Money Works workbook for you to start getting in control of your own finances. Because there's no way you can run a business and manage their finances if you can't manage home. All right. Then we're going to move to we're going to pivot a bit, and we're going to start focusing on our food and beverage industry persons. We're going to have Brent Reeves, he's the president of Smoky John's Barbecue, to come out and do an in-person dinner presentation on March the 26th for anyone who is looking to open their own restaurant. Now, a restaurant, it doesn't have to necessarily just be food. You may want to open a coffee shop, an ice cream stand, anything that has a physical location. But I'm going to tell you something. Even if if you don't have a radar on your agenda yet, I would tell you to still come out, because he's going to tell you the things that he wish he had known, you know what I'm saying, before he got there, where people often make mistakes, just in case you change and pivot and decide to want to go that direction. That is for people in the food and beverage industry. And yes, it includes catering by Smoky John's. Then 2 days later, on March 28th, we're going to have Michelle McDonald come out and talk about catering and mobile food service. That's delivery, that's food trucks, etc. So all the people that you know, spread the word to the guy who's selling plates out of his trunk, the person who's always at the beauty salon trying to get you some chicken salad and crackers. We want everybody to come out to learn how they can move and advance their catering or their mobile food service to the next level. And catering will be provided by Michelle's company, Elle Carter Catering and Cakes. And these are both at no charge to you. However, space is limited. Can't feed 100 people. So once we max out of what that room can hold, and that is it. Those are in person, but they will also be offered online. So that was a great question that I saw come up in the chat. I'm over here side-eyeing the chat. So yes, they're in person because we want to feed your soul, like for real. But also they'll be available online if you can't make it out on those dates. And we record every session so you can catch the information afterwards as well. Now, starting and that'll round out March, but starting in April, we've got Raffinay Sanders. Don't know if you guys saw her on Good Morning America the other day, but she's going to talk about consumer packaged goods. So that's anything you see sitting on a shelf at a store. Jams, jellies, vitamins, whatever it is that you're packaging. She's going to talk about her success with helping people get their items, including her own, into stores. So you don't want to miss that on April the 2nd. That one's in person as well. And then the last one in April, this is one that applies to any industry, not just food and beverage, is being bankable. That is right, being bankable. How can you get funding for your company? We're going to come right back in May, and we're going to have another in-person on May the 7th at 5:30 that is going to talk about business and dining etiquette. That one is in person, and although we're going to offer it online as well, you're going to get to learn while actually eating a meal. And it's going to be presented by Alyssa Allen. And then at the end, we're going to talk about business marketing, with Greg Johnson. And that's going to end our series on May the 21st. So again, you can go to linktree.com/speaker series to see all of those. Registration for those typically happens about 3 weeks in advance. I am intentionally holding off on the food and beverage industry ones until after these 2 sessions to give you guys advanced access to register, because we know it is going to tap out. Okay. So Friday morning, I need you guys to be ready to go into the link tree. Actually, go in there now. Register for the one for Thursday, register for the one for next Tuesday, and then subscribe and follow the link tree. That way, anytime we update something, you guys get notification, so you get advance notice, because it's going to be amazing. I will also take everyone who signed into the chat. That's why I keep saying, if your phone says Samsung or Zoom user, put your name in the chat, because everybody who not only registered but showed up, I'm going to send you an email with the information so that you can register in advance. It is our little way of saying thank you, because you can't care about somebody else's job more than you care about your own. So you guys showing up and staying here, that shows me that you care, and we want to help you succeed. So let me show you a few other things. Again, I will be presenting Get Set Up for Success, the tools and resources your small business needs. We're going to talk about professional branding options, which include websites, emails, and to the person who might have thought I was playing when I said virtual addresses, notice that it says mailing address on this slide. Financial management resources, client management tools, onboarding, training, social media, marketing, AI opportunities, and much more. And this one's going to be a little more interactive, just because that's my style. I need to see where you guys are. Might bring you on camera, might not bring you on camera, but this is always a good time. This is actually going to be the 4th time we presented this one, because it always maxes out, and we always need to have, another one just to keep people in text. So hope to see you on that one. You can register at Linktree/speaker series. That one is still open. So what are you waiting on? Now, for my food and beverage industry people, that is catering, brick and mortar, mobile food truck, that is consumer packaged goods, manufacturing, food technology, processing, anything food related, food or beverage related. We've got an opportunity for you. Santander is how you pronounce it, has a program called Cultivate Small Business. It is designed for food entrepreneurs. It's for any early stage women and immigrant and minority and owned businesses in emerging neighborhoods. We'll explain what all of that means when you see the literature. It is a 12-week, fully virtual program that is absolutely free for people who apply and are accepted, okay, to come in and gain industry-specific education. They get to network, and they get capital grants. That's money. So that being said, they're offering this in 3 areas: the greater Dallas area, Miami, and Philadelphia. So the applications are going to be available for this on March the 15th. However, just so you can know if you're somebody who may be qualified, you obviously have to reside or represent a business located in a low to moderate income urban area in Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami-Dade, or Philadelphia. You have to have revenue between $25,000 and $1 million in the most recent full calendar year, and have been in business at least 1 year by last Friday, which was March 1st, and have between 1 and 10 employees. And again, this is for anybody in processing, technology, manufacturing, food services, catering, restaurant, anything food and beverage related. Okay. And when you complete the program, everybody who completes the program gets a capital funding grant. That is correct. Plus, there's opportunities to get additional money. So I've got an email here where you can ask more questions, but we've got all this information, because I know I've said a lot, on the link tree. Go to the link tree. It's going to pop up. It's going to tell you a whole bunch of stuff. And on there, it is going to tell you all about how you can apply for this particular program. But we don't just want you to think this is all about food and beverage. We care about everyone on this call who's trying to start or grow your business. So right here, what you're going to see, and there are 2 different barcodes. They're going to get you to the same place. However, the first barcode takes you directly there. The second scan barcode, I just want you to have it because it's for the link tree again. Because if you go to the link tree, it'll get you to everything. Want you to have one space for everything. But we have something called the DCVC Growth Lab Advisory. We call it one-on-one advisement. What happens is you can go in and quote unquote apply. It's not really an apply, it's more of a sign up. And then somebody, a counselor will actually meet with you. I should say an advisor will actually meet with you for one-on-one conversations about your business. And that is funded by Dallas College. So scan either one of those barcodes. If you don't know how to scan, if you're on your phone and you can't scan, you can always go to Linktree with the little dot between the R and the E's /speaker series. Again, that's Linktree /speaker series. So I know I've said a lot, but just the things you can get off the Linktree is right now you can register for Thursday's presentation on getting set up for success, the tools and resources your business needs. You can do financial literacy one-on-one. And even though those are for entrepreneurs, they are also great for anybody who's struggling maybe in their personal life to try to get things together so they can get to that point of starting their own business. Then starting Friday, some people may get a little advanced access. You will be able to come back and sign up for those in-person sessions that are happening for brick and mortar restaurants, catering, mobile food service, and consumer packaged goods on March the 26th, the 28th, and April 2nd, respectively. And then, as you continue to follow it, you'll see that we have the other ones for the dining etiquette, the being bankable, and the business marketing coming up on that same site as well. You can also find out more information about the Santander Food and Beverage Industry program, Cultivate Small Business, and you can sign up for the one-on-one advising through the DCVC Growth Group. So that being said, it is 7:19. We actually have about 11 minutes left, but we want to be respectful of your time. So if anyone wants to stay on and ask us any questions that we may be able to answer, Elle Carter and I are all ears. Other than that, you guys are welcome to go. You've been a wonderful, wonderful audience. All right. And all the information you need is on the link tree. So make sure that you go to the link tree to get any of the information that you need, and it'll be there. And then I'll send out a follow-up email with this that'll also have the link tree information. That way you can get all the information in one place. All right. Thanks, guys. And I'm still open. If you guys, I'm going to take you guys off mute as well. So if anybody's got questions now, you guys can go ahead and ask. And thank you for everyone who's saying thank you for the information. We really, really, really appreciate it. Right. So you guys are able to unmute yourselves if you just want to pop up and ask a question, or you can still use the chat. Right. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Shani and Tanika, Rosalind and Shanrika. Look for that information to come. If not, make sure you visit Linktree /speaker series. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, LaSharon. Thank you. And I'm going to mess this one up. Hefiza, my name is January. They mess it up all the time, so I'm sorry if I messed yours up. Thanks, Roland. Thank you. I know who the Zoom user is now. Thank you, Tika. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Sharmika. Thanks to everyone. All right, I do see some people still hanging on. So if you've got questions, Elle and I are still here. All right, I think we've got everybody. Bye, everyone.